The present state of political discourse, in my opinion, has degenerated so badly that you can't decide or know what the truth is from politicians anymore. What's happened to politics is that the television commercial concept drives everything. Television commercials range some from 30 seconds to usually 60 seconds. And the idea of television commercials are slogans, phrases, and that things can be accomplished or that there are solutions to problems within 30 to 60 seconds. Of course, we know that's not true in the real world. When you're watching the candidates, we're never told who can be the best president, really. You can't really tell that even from the debates, because the debates are driven by the television commercial concept, and that is slogans and sound bites. So what's happened today is that if you really want to know the truth about what a politician stands for, it's nearly impossible if you're going to get it from television. Americans have become generally television addicts. The average American household has the television on 10 hours a day, which means they're absorbing 3 hours of commercials a day. By the time an American in the United States is 40 years old, they've already seen 1 million commercials. Now, the politicians hire marketing agencies that know this. That's why when you see a politician screaming, "We can change this," or "We can do that," without any kind of content tied to it, you know where that's coming from. It's coming from a politician, whoever they might be, even ones that you might happen to like. It's coming from marketing agencies and people who target not what Americans necessarily need, but what Americans seem to want. In other words, they go to your desires and principally your animal instincts. Americans are largely to blame for this because they become non-readers. By absorbing so much television, what's happened is television has replaced books as the primary method of gaining information. Why books are important and why reading is important is that you can actually analyze what you're reading when you read a book. You cannot analyze what's on television. There's no way in 20 seconds you can go back and look at that or study what the candidate just said in that 30 to 60 seconds or in the debates. Why reading is so important is that it's the basis of freedom. To give you an example, the people who wrote the United States Constitution and the people who fought the British to establish our freedoms, they were readers. They lived in a time when you could read leaflets, you could study, you knew the points, the 10 reasons why you should rebel against Great Britain. Today, Americans can't give you the 3 basic ideas or points that a candidate has to support the candidacy with any kind of content tied to it. There are several things we can do. One is watch less television, go do more searching the internet, read your local newspaper. I would think our Congress should move at least to consider limiting television ads for politicians to maybe banning them. I know that people are going to raise First Amendment objections to that, and that can be dealt with at that time. But that may be only a Band-Aid solution, but we have to start somewhere. George Orwell, who wrote the book 1984, Animal Farm, one of the great prophetic minds of the 20th century, saw a time when the states and the governments, the fascist leaders, whatever, would ban books and take the books away. Aldous Huxley saw a different vision. I think he was more correct than Orwell. He saw a time when basically the government or our society would give you whatever you want, and they would just flood you with all kinds of inane images and ideas, and basically you would be amused to death, to use the phrase of Professor Neil Postman in his excellent book, Amusing Ourselves to Death. And that's where we're at today. Basically, there's no reason to ban books or censor anymore because we're just bombarded with glut. And when you get so much information, and most of it's entertainment, and politicians have become entertainers in the process, and really Ronald Reagan was correct when he said politics is like show business back in the 1960s. He understood it. He was an actor, and that's what it's become as it's embroiled in television. And so what we wind up at the end of the day is we have more to fear probably from just a glut of information from an irresponsible society driven by marketing agencies, where if we really want to know political truth or any truth at all, it's going to be impossible to find.